What is up, guys? Orbital-Pilot back here once again in the world of Warthunder. This time taking the sky in the FW-190 D13. Now, I know you may be thinking to yourselves, well, didn't he just do a video on this plane? And the answer to that is 100% yeah, that's absolutely correct. But recently, the plane was moved down from a 6.0 battle rating to a 5.7. In fact, it was the day I uploaded the video, so I was a little sad because it completely invalidated pretty much everything I said in the video. So I figured it would be a good time to take out the D13 again and see how it does. Now, right away, getting into the gameplay, LA7 put some shots into his right gear leg and right flap and stuff. Not massive amounts of damage. Keep in mind, I believe I am using the Omni belts because I had not shot the German 20mm in a very long time. So I was a little bit uneasy, I guess you could say, with how the guns were performing. So I decided to go ahead and put some Omni belts. This is the second game I have played since I uploaded that video with the D13. So I was a little bit rusty, but even still, facing the Russians, I think I did quite well. Now, I didn't climb up too high, only around 4,000 meters, and diving back down, luckily enough, all the Russians seemed to stay fairly low. The Yak-3s, the I-185s, all decently low. I didn't have to really worry about any Yaks super high up. So, using simple boom and zoom techniques, like I said in the previous video, although the previous video is completely invalidated now with the battle rating, the actual tactics are the same. So this plane has a massively large engine with massive amounts of power, so you got to remember to use it as a boom and zoomer. Right there, that could have been a clean kill, although the elevator is a little bit on the weak side, especially in higher speeds, of course. And taking the plane back up into the vertical, I'm really trying to extend the energy that I had coming from the initial dive, which, luckily enough, this plane is strong enough. It's not like a spit, it's not like the VK-107 like I reviewed last time, but it is fairly good. The plane is still decently heavy, so keep that in mind. And right here, this is really where you can start to see the heaviness. Luckily enough, the heaviness does help extremely well with the dive speed. You can get right back up to speed fairly quickly. Now, put some shots into the Yak-3P and just absolutely blow them apart. That's kill one. Try to go heads up with an I-185. Once again, right there. As you can see, the elevator is on the weak side. If it was slightly stronger, that guy would have been absolute toast. So right here is where you can really start to see my my rustiness with these guns, and it shows up real big. BF-109 trying to bait for me. He's doing an amazing job. This right here is one of my favorite shots of all time. Yeah, that was just stunningly good. Shot around my teammate, through my teammate, did not hit my teammate somehow, and just absolutely blew him out of. I mean, that was straight up, that was an explosive kill. I don't know if it hit his fuel tank, I don't know what it hit, but he absolutely went up in flames. So that was extremely satisfying. That's second kill for the game. But real quick, now that we're talking, of course, through the gameplay, I do want to talk about some more tactics and specific things about the plane now that it is battle rating 5.7. But before we do that, guys, I do want to apologize if I sound a little bit stuffy. It's because I am. Sadly enough, spring is coming around. I don't know why. Maybe just allergies. But yeah. So it sucks a little to do recordings, but it shouldn't be too noticeable. So LA7 pulls back around right here once again. Those were decent shots. I don't know why it did not hurt him worse. In my opinion, after seeing what it did to the two other planes, it should have blown him out of the sky. Now here's where things get questionable. I'm going to follow this LA7, of course, because I did get first crits on him, I believe. I say that, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I do believe I did get first crits. So, the way it kind of works in my book is that if you get the first critical shot, it's kind of yours to take. So Do335 tries to come in. Amazing plane, at least in theory. I may do, I haven't even flown the plane out, to be honest. But it is highly interesting. So LA7 still heavily smoking from all my cannon rounds earlier. The BF-109 G14 is trying to take him out. He's missing his shots. And I did apologize for this because right here I was kind of on autopilot in a way, and I really wasn't paying attention at all. And so I didn't even remember that I had critted this guy. So I kind of felt like a jerk killing him. But now that I look back, I did have first crits. So really, it's not my issue. So pulling it back up into the vertical once again, trying to extend all the energy that I have. Sadly enough, it's not the VK-107. After flying the VK-107, it's kind of hard to go back to pretty much anything else because that Yak VK-107, I don't know. I may have to pick that up for myself. The only problem is it does face jets, which this plane no longer does. And that's what I really wanted to talk about. Of course, this plane stays remotely the same with everything. And just to run down things real quick, I mean, its roll speed is absolutely ridiculous. In fact, it's so fast, it's almost hard to get used to. It has literally put me off shot just because of how good the roll rate is. But the elevator and the rudder are not lackluster, but mediocre at best. The elevator is fairly weak. The rudder is decent, but the plane really does like to not even lock up. It's just not a maneuverable plane at all. Just keep that in mind. The Dora is absolutely terrible when it comes to maneuverability. And so please do keep in mind that when using this thing, really the only maneuver you're going to be able to beat something like a Spitfire at is, of course, scissoring. And that's only because of your roll rate. If you're a decent Focke-Wulf 190 pilot, you will be able to beat a Spit in scissors. But if he does anything smart, like fight in the vertical, you know, stuff like that, hammerheads, I mean, this is going to have a very, very, very hard time competing, especially against something like a Yak down low in the verticals, or even like a Spitfire up high in the verticals. It's going to have a very, very hard time keeping up with that. But benefits of this plane, first things first, its dive speed is absolutely ridiculous. Like I said in the last video, this thing will hit like 600 miles an hour or something close to that in a dive, and it's like, oh my god, I think this thing is broken. In fact, I must say I have never actually broken this thing in a dive, ever. Kind of curious to see what it is, but I have gone like 570 miles an hour and been just fine and pulled up decently. Well, actually, I pulled up just like I was going 400 miles an hour. So I'm not sure if that's a glitch, but you know, use it to your advantage for sure. Also, its guns, 320 millimeters, pretty much put in the nose. Two of them are on the wing, but they are so close to the fuselage, you kind of just aim like they're in your nose. Like you've seen in this video, do massive amounts of damage, especially if you can actually get all three cannon rounds to connect at the same time. So please do keep that in mind. Aim like they are in your nose, and of course they're German 20 millimeters, so just aim for that. It's a fairly common gun, so it should not be super hard. The engine, of course, is quite powerful. You can keep around 400 miles an hour in a straight line. Of course, not at sea level, but you know. Right here, you are seeing a takeoff, and so you can see the acceleration of this plane is fairly decent. Don't get me wrong, it's no Griffin, but quite good. And I kind of feel like that's the whole thing with this plane. This plane takes damage decently well. It's decently fast. It has the best dive speed of, I think, maybe any prop. So that's for sure. It has amazing firepower. But really the problem with having a plane that's only excellent in dive speed is that you can only go down so far before you hit the ground. So as soon as you lose that altitude, you're going to lose all your advantages. And that's the biggest thing you have to watch out for this plane, is when you do decide to finally dive on someone, make sure there's no one around you or on top of you. If there is, you're kind of screwing yourself over. So let's talk about the new battle rating. Now that we've landed and are going back to the battle, it was at 6.0, and 6.0 was terrible for this plane because when you face props, you would do really well, and then you would go and face jets, and even though they're only Meteor Mark F3s and stuff, and Vampires, or not Vampires, but P-80s, MiG-9s, this thing would just get slapped around. It's not, there's nothing this plane can do, because a lot of jets can outturn this, and well, like the Meteor Mark III, the Meteor Mark III is both faster and more maneuverable, so it makes it really hard for this plane to fight against it. But now that they lowered it down to 5.7, you're facing stuff like you see in this video, pretty much constantly. LA7s, Yak 3Ps, stuff that it more likely would have faced during World War II. And wow, this plane, as you can see through this video, has done absolutely magnificent. Wow, that was a little catastrophic. But no, this plane is really good at what it does, and that's dive speed. And really, it's not your main battle tank, in my opinion. I would leave that up to the 109s, but it is a great scavenging plane because it's very fast and it has decent firepower. It's also really good at hunting bombers. And now that you're not fighting a bunch of, bomber spam all the time, it is nice sometimes to just go for them. But around 5.7, I think is a really decent battle rating for this plane. You're not facing those low-tier jets anymore, or at least I have not yet. Maybe you do. But so far, after 5 or 6 games, I have not got to actually face a P-80, which is really nice. But I think in theory it is possible, just not nearly as often. But against props, like I said, you are fairly well matched. You're going to be faster than a lot of props. You're going to have better firepower than a lot of props. You won't be more maneuverable, of course, but it is a very good plane to buy. And although videos like last time where I said, don't get me wrong, I love this plane, but I'm not sure if I can recommend to buy it because of what it faces. I think I can take that back. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying go out and buy this plane right away. You need to have it. It's going to save your German grinding career. No. But it is a plane that I can now confidently say, like, okay, if I did not have this plane, and I know what I know now, I would go ahead and pick it up because personally, well, it's grinding out my entire German line. But it is a really decent plane with a lot of benefits. And although it is a little pricey, I think for the price and I think for the amount of RP you're going to get and for the fun you're going to have, really, in my opinion, it is worth it. So guys, comment down below. Do you guys have this plane? Have you flown it since the new battle rating change? Let me know if you're having more fun, if you're getting better kills, maybe a better KD ratio. But until then, guys, fly safe, be a good teammate, and I'll see you guys next time.